Oh, Jimmy, it's just I'm just a busy person, as you know that, So but I'm trying to get home. I'm trying to get home so that I do the right thing by you, mate. Because I look forward to this little session every week.
Are you sure? Did you look forward to it last week?
Yeah, I did because I knew exactly how you're going to take the show to. I knew exactly how you're going to start it. I knew exactly what you're going to say.
Yeah.
So I look forward to. There's nothing wrong with a bit of banter, mate. You know that.
Yes, yes, I am very predictable. I tell you what I don't know whether it was predictable or not, but we got a lot to get through. Back to the Canberra Raiders Rugby League World Cup 2026, and the Meninga show that I watched on Monday night that premiered on Fox Sports. You going back to Tanner Island, so there's a lot to get through, mate. But why don't we start with the Raiders? Give us an
Yeah.
understanding how this all came about. 166 games for the club, and of course, coached the club as well. 5 grand finals, 3 premierships.
Oh well, man, I'm honestly privileged, honoured to go back and help out the mighty Raiders. Obviously I live in the area. I'm a resident of Canberra, and I follow the Raiders. So forever green. So when I had the opportunity to go back and help them in any capacity, really, not quite. We're it's an ambassador role, so it's men of many coats, I
Yeah.
feel, and so it's around their they're looking at their profile, the club. Obviously, it's the only country club in the competition. Looking at their helping them with their rosters and mentoring, whatever I can do, mate. I'm willing to help out. So it's a minor role, but it's really I'm really excited about it all.
Yeah, it seems a really obvious one from our point of view. Like, you legend of the club, live in the area, 13th Immortal, obviously have a love for the club. How did it come about, Mal? Did Don Ferner reach out to you? Did Ricky Stewart reach out? How did that all play out?
No, it was all above, Jimmy. So initially through Ricky, and Ricky actually having a conversation with the game too. So I've got to thank obviously Peter Valandis and Andrew Abdo to allow me to do this as well, which is great because obviously I'm still coaching the Kangaroos. But initially Ricky, and then Don, and then obviously the board had talked to the chairman Dennis Richardson as well, and it all come to fruition. So like I said, I was taken back a little bit because it is my club. I
Yep.
love the club, and to have some sort of influence or formal role within the club really excites me. Like I said, and that's exactly where I've been. To be honest with you, Jimmy, I've just come from a little meeting with the coaching staff and all the football department guys, and man, it's a slightly exciting prospect. It's a rebuilding phase for them. They're going through. They bought some really key signings and around their junior development programs. Their junior club systems are going great. Recruitment's going great. We've got some exciting young talent already playing in first grade, and some great older players like the Tarpanese and the Papalis and Elliot Whitehead, Jamal Fogarty, Hudson Young, those types of players at the club. So I'm excited about the future of the club as well.
How do you approach that first meeting, Mal? You go in and you're all listening, or did you add a contribution anywhere, or is it just one of these fact-finding situations at this stage?
Just more fact finding,
Yeah,
listening. I think that's really important, Jimmy. Like
yeah,
you're not going to go. I mean, you add value. That's what I'm trying to do, obviously, and that's what they want me to do. Offer some advice at critical times, perhaps, but just listening about the way that's all set up. They took me through their values, which is excellent. It's around team first attitude, humility, and working hard. I think those attributes are pretty special. And we talked a little bit about the history of the club and where it's come from and how the club does celebrate that. Ricky's a really stalwart in that area. All the players and even the staff of the club actually understand the history of the club, which
yeah.
to me that's critical. And then we just had a bit of a chat about obviously where they want to head. What everyone wants to be successful. Everyone wants to win a premiership, and that's obviously the focus, the objective. But it's how you get there as well, really important. And we talked about the players, and the players they got at the club. Like I said before, they've got some exciting young talent coming, at the club and playing first grade at the moment, and they've got a really good batch of senior players. It's just putting it all together and try to get some sustainability within their rosters, their roster. So, yeah, I'm really happy, to be sitting in there and talking Raiders.
Yeah. Well, if there's any listeners want to ask Mal a question, I know there's lots of Raiders fans that do listen to the program. 0457 736 736. Get us on the open line as well, 1300 01 1170. Before we get to the Mal Meninga show on Monday night on Fox Sports, Rugby League World Cup 2026, the announcement that Australia and Papua New Guinea will be the hosts. The teams reduced to 10 men's teams. What was your first thought on that when you learnt of the scheduling for the Rugby League World Cup, Mal?
Well, it's obviously great that we've actually got scheduling now. From a planning point of view, we can start to look at that because obviously, I'm committed till the end of the World Cup, which is great. And then, not the only thing. Well, then there's, our supporters, our fans, the fans that support the game in general, whatever country they want to support as well, can start to do some planning around it all. We know that it's going to be Australia and Papua New Guinea, so it's all around that. So it's actually being more aware of what's going on, so you can actually have plan towards the future, and then I think the fans and supporters can actually start to look at what they will do at the back end of 26.
Yeah. Down from 16 teams to 10 teams from the previous World Cup. Why would that be, Mal?
I just think culturally it'll be huge. It'll be a huge tournament because of the Pacific Island teams and how much better they're getting from their squad point of view and their preparation and their performances. So I think that's a critical factor. And then not quite sure what the pools, but it could be 2 pools, I feel, and with 8 teams, obviously, or 10 teams, sorry. So play each other once and it's more competitive, So every game you play, every game that the fans come and see, it will be a very, very competitive game.
Yeah. I think around that, the cost associated with that, we talk about it a lot here. Football World Cup, you can play 2 games or 3 games in a week. You can't do that in rugby league. It's just too challenging, the nature of the game. So that means your elongated tournaments means there's a lot of cost associated with that, accommodation costs, etc. So I understand that coming back. The beauty
I think the cost structure is a good point, but I just feel that the standard of competition in those games, and it's the women's as well, don't forget,
yes,
will be of the high end. So at times, as we know with World Cups, in our sport, there are some blowouts. We play against other international countries, but I feel that, with the reduced numbers, every game will be competitive. So a fan can go to that game and expect a good performance from their countries they support.
Yeah. Well, Australia is the defending men's champion. Australia is the defending women's champion. I think, did Great Britain win the wheelchair? I think they did, didn't they? I'm trying to remember back to 2020.
No, Great Britain got beaten by France.
France in the wheelchair, yeah, right.
Yeah, I think. No, you're right. No, Great Britain beat France because France were the favourites.
Right.
And France were the current World Cup champions, and Great Britain won it. So it was huge. I remember watching it. Yes, I was not too far away from where we were staying, so we went and watched it. And the Great Britain side there was unbelievable news, Jimmy, over in the UK when the Great Britain wheelchair, became the champions of the Rugby League World Cup wheelchair comp. So it was huge in England.
Yeah, absolutely. I do remember that. So Australia, Samoa, New Zealand, England, Lebanon, Tonga, Fiji and Papua New Guinea all qualify because they made the quarterfinals of the 2022 Rugby League World Cup. So that means the Cook Islands, Jamaica, South Africa, and the winner of France, Serbia, Wales, Ukraine will play off for those final 2 spots. So the other beauty of that too, Mal, is that it gives these other test matches huge importance in regards qualification for the World Cup.
Exactly, and eligibility too, Jimmy. Like you look at France as an example, obviously they got some great players and they play in the English Super League. So it sort of, I think in the last couple of World Cups, there was a lot of infighting, I reckon, in the French, under the French structure. Then they got Trent Robinson involved, which is great. And now that they'll have a fairly formidable footy team come out, so they'll be pushing. And then the Cook Islands, obviously, I think they're playing really well at the moment. They play in the Pacific Champs.
Yep.
So you would think those two nations will probably push through into the main World Cup system.
Yeah. No, it is exciting. It's a great time. It's obviously a great tournament that needs further support, because it is a card to the rest of the world when you start talking about World Cup. So that is exciting for us. I just wonder how many games up there in PNG. Here's the other one that I thought about, and that is, will the Kangaroos play a game in PNG?
Well, it depends on the pools, Jimmy. So I believe it's going to be two pools. Okay,
Right.
5. We'll play 4 games. So at this stage, if PNG's in our pool, well, then we'd probably play PNG on their home soil. So all the games that Papua New Guinea will be involved with will be up in Papua New Guinea.
Yep.
So if we happen to be part of that pool, I would imagine we'll be up there playing. So, and all the other games, obviously, where Papua New Guinea's not involved, will be down here around Australia.
Yeah. No, very, very good point.
That's my assumption, mate. That's
Right.
my assumption.
Right, and that's the other thing. The International Rugby League have not come out yet with a strong schedule, but we know October, November 2026, Australia and PNG, which is a good starting point. So
it is, yeah. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, text messages coming in already, Mal. Afternoon, Jimmy and Malcolm. Mal, has Billy Slater sent an SOS out to you after Queensland was only able to score 1 try the entire Origin series when the New South Wales Blues had 13 on the field? Asked Damien the Putter Pest.
Oh, he is a pest, seriously. Thank you. Oh, dear. Well, that's last week's news.
That's what I said to Damien.
Oh, God. No, Billy hasn't. No, we have reached out. We've talked about Origin, and we'll go have more conversations about the players, but I'm sure we'll get it right next year.
Without you telling us what Billy said to you, are you able to disclose some of the things that you said to Billy, Mal? Are you open to that?
I'm just proud of the fact. Well, I'm just proud of the fact the way it was a great game. Everyone understands that.
Yes.
Everyone have said that. There's not one person that hasn't said what a great game. And there was one moment in a game where Jerome Luai, got a ball that was on the ground and got out on the outside of Jeremiah Nanai and put young Bradman Best into scoring the corner. So moments win Origin, and that's exactly what happened. You couldn't question their effort, the dedication. The Blues, and I said yes last week, the Blues deserve their victories, no doubt. And but it is something that the Maroons can take forward around the points, I guess. And but you also got to remember some of their better players. Let's be really honest. With Flegler and Faisal Mali and Tommy Gilbert and Munster, Xavier Coates didn't play in that game either. So if those 5 players are playing, I'm assuming that we'll score more points.
Yeah, Nathan Cleary, Latrell Mitchell, Tom Trebojevic. Oh, sorry, I was just jotting stuff down.
No, I'm just saying. Well, I don't. Why would you change a winning team? This is the New South Wales side.
Here we go.
Why would you change a winning team?
Here we go. This is good. Hey, what about this, Mal? Phil Gould described it as the greatest win in New South Wales State of Origin history. So, 3 deciders up there at Suncorp. This is the 3 decider winners up there for New South Wales. But he says this is the greatest. So, as we go to a break, I'm going to ask you the same question, and maybe the listeners want to get involved as well. What do you think is the greatest New South Wales victory? What do you think is the greatest victory in Queensland's State of Origin history? Let's exclude Game 1. So, because that set the tone for everything, didn't it, with the great Arthur Beetson on the field? But
it did. It did. I think 85 for New South Wales, because that was the first time they won it under Steve Mortimer, obviously, and that's what the current Blues used as they used up Turvey as the poster boy for what a New South Wales player is, and what happens when they put a maroon, or sorry, a Blues jersey on. So I think 85 for me, and for me personally, if I can't have game one in 80, for me personally was 2015, the third game at Suncorp, when all that culmination of those years, all those players were together, um, result in a fantastic win for the Maroons.
Your final game, and you didn't know that there was going to be your final game until later, did you?
No,
No.
exactly. I had
Yeah.
no thoughts around that at all. I just felt that it was sort of, like I said, the culmination of that team being together for such a long time, because the Origin's difficult to win.
Yeah.
When we only did it once, 3-0 once,
Yes.
with that great run we had. Most every other time was 2-1. Or we had a couple of times 2-0, but could never get 3-0.
Yeah.
And I just felt that game epitomised what the talent and the dedication of that footy team represented. I think it represented in the scoreline that everything come to fruition at that one time, and everyone played their role, to the best of their ability.
52 points to 6 is reasonably comprehensive, I would have thought, in that that final scoreline.
Well, it was such a great era for Queensland, as you know, and some of the best players that ever played the game were in that Queensland team.
Yeah.
And to have all those best players playing to the heights of their ability, and combining that to get that victory, I felt. I mean, I sat in my box as a fan that particular day, Jimmy. I didn't really have to do any coaching whatsoever.
Yeah.
I just sat back and enjoyed the whole experience.